Hey everybody, it is Dan once again, and I'm getting in my top 37 just in the nick of time. We're only a few weeks to the final, but I've let these songs kind of stew, been playing them on my playlist, and I think I've finally gotten my 37 down. So let's see what it's about. So the first 10 or 15 or so, I'm just gonna not say very much about. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So that's kind of what I feel about these bottom 10 to 15. So at 37, last place I have Peaked Jacks, Like an Animal. It's really great that they're embracing the Eurovision spirit, at the pre-parties. They sound great. There's a lot of great rock music in the competition, but this style of rock misses the mark for me. Number 36, I have Mama SC, Let 3. I'll feel right at home. I had a drive your tractor to school day at my school as a kid growing up. So apparently they're going to have a tractor on stage, a golden tractor. That'll be very interesting. Once again, the song, not my taste, not for me. Number 35 originally started in my 20s and kind of just dropped off a cliff. And that was Blood and Glitter by Lord of the Lost. There's something about it that it does feel very much like German rock, but the lyrics can't sing them and not kind of laugh and half smile at myself. It's a cool performance. It's going to be another, much like Let 3, a very memorable performance on stage. So at number 34, I have Albina with Duhe. I think this is a step down for Albania this year. I think their last few entries have been quite strong. The song is another one that I just haven't quite connected with, and maybe I will before the competition. And now at number 33, here's where I probably lose 10% of my viewers of this video. It is Blanca Paloma with Yeah. What's there to say? She's an unbelievable vocalist. She has incredible stage presence and great staging. Everything about it is wonderful, except the song itself, which if you watch my first reaction Spain video from way back when, it was the same reaction, and I still have not connected with this song. I don't think I will. Number 32, I have Dejite, Romania, Theodore. This is actually a pretty cool song. I think it stands out a lot too. There's definitely not a lot of kind of mid-tempo, raspy, almost punk songs like his. I will say this is one I've been skipping a lot, but I've been letting play more and more, so it could climb my list a little bit. At number 31, I have Alika with Bridges, but for some reason this one doesn't quite hit the high highs that I like and the low lows. It just kind of has that really gentle run up, and never connected with it. Now at number 30, I have Monica Linkett with Stay from Lithuania. This is another one that I think I had a little bit lower, and it started to grow on my list. One that I don't skip all the time anymore, but still not quite resonating with. I do think this one is going to qualify. I still feel very confident that enough people are going to enjoy this entry. I hope they have a great stage show for it as well. Maybe I can appreciate it a bit more then. Cracking into the 20s at number 29, I have Tvorki with Heart of Steel. I have a feeling this one will go up my list when we actually start to see the staging and the actual performance. It's Ukraine. They stage everything amazingly. So at number 28, this is probably my biggest faller, I guess, but maybe I just never really had them appropriately ranked. I have Noah Kirill, Israel, with Unicorn at number 28. Phenomen. They're going to put a lot of money into this and the dance break and everything else. And when I listen to it, I just think I'd rather be listening to other songs. Number 27, it is Switzerland, Remo Ferrer with Water Gun. Of the competition, he's already proven that he's a great vocalist. The song message is what it is. Again, this one kind of bores me. There's other slower songs that I appreciate a lot more. At number 26, we have Ireland, Wild Youth, We Are Young. Cut that. We Are One. This one started really low on my list, but I think it was more I was upset that Connolly didn't win. He's got a great voice. We know they can perform. If you can sound good on the Late Late Show for Ireland and actually really sound good, then you're a great performer, because that's very difficult with that terrible studio. Still, they're also embracing Eurovision, which is really great. They were getting a little hate early on in the pre-parties, and fandom has kind of rallied around them a bit more. And at number 25, I have Future Lover, Brunette, that is Armenia. This is, everyone calls it the TikTok song. I still am a little off put by the chorus. Be good, do good, look good live with the performance aspect of it. It might grow on me. It might bring something else to the table. But as just a recorded song, I lose interest pretty quickly in it. At number 24, I have Mimicat. It is Ai Curacao. If you told me the genre of all the songs this year and you said rank them based on what the genre is, I'd put this probably last. Show tune style musical number. But this one's pretty cool. I actually do find it catchy. Very cute. She's a phenomenal performer. Portugal has consistently been able to send whatever type of music, make it look beautiful, performed amazingly. This is all sans Conan, who I was not a big fan of, but everything else since Salvador that Portugal's been sending, I've been all about. So this is another one I think will be a great performance, probably grow in my rankings a little bit when we see the live. At number 23, we have Bebe herself. It is solo by Blanca. With the right backing vocals or vocalists to back her up and the right staging, it's a catchy song. You know, of the girl bops, like I actually prefer this one over Israel as far as a recorded song. Is she gonna sound better than No Quiero Live? No, probably not. But I do like the song better. I do find it a little bit catchy. It's just kind of a nice summer bop. At number 22, I have Iru with Echo. This one, I think, caught the entire fandom off guard. It was one of the last, or was the last song released. I can't remember if it was the last or one of the lyrics certainly felt like ChatGPT may have written them and not an actual person. But that doesn't matter when you can sing like her style. I think we know this one is going to qualify and get Georgia out of its NQ streak. The first few days, I think I was skipping, and then the more and more I listened to it, the more I really started to enjoy it. Number 21, I have Moldova, Suaro Saluna, Pasha Parfini. It's pretty much right in the middle of the road, and that's pretty much how I feel about it. It is a nice song. I don't usually skip it. I listen to the song, man. It's pretty cool. That's about it. And at number 20, I have Gustav, Because of You from Belgium. 90s style, dance bop, positive number. He's charismatic. He's got a great voice. It's a great party anthem. A lot of people thought this was going to actually be the opener of semifinal number semifinal number 2. And it ended up getting, I think, the 6th position, which I think is going to benefit it. I think you'd rather probably come a little bit later with a song like that, especially to wake people up with some of the other songs in between there. All right, at number 19, I have Dilja. It's Power from Iceland. I'm going to say the same thing about it as I said it in my Iceland video, which was, it's a nice song. Don't have anything positive to say about it. Don't have anything negative to say about it. I listened to it. Power. That's it. And at 18, we have Slovenia, Joker Out. Of the rock songs, it's definitely on my upper half. I really do enjoy it. I think it's a good vibe. They're great performers live. They've proved that in a lot of the pre-parties. I'm ready to see this performance. I do hope Slovenia really puts some money behind this one. I think they will, since they internally selected them rather than doing a national final. So I am hoping that they give them all the sparks and fireworks and everything they need to really make a great performance, and I think get Slovenia back to the final. At 17, I have Vesna with My Sister's Crown. They've steadily improved in their pre-parties, and just as they've improved, as I've been listening to the recorded version of the song, I used to skip it. Now I'm like not skipping as much. Now I'm singing along. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to come around on this song. I think it is becoming one of my favorites of the season. Of course, they are in that tough semifinal number 1. They're gonna have to bring it, and they're gonna have to be outstanding to get to the final. At number 16, I have France, Lazara, évidemment. As Twitter says, she mothers mothering, then more mothers can mother if they could mother. I think that's how Twitter phrases it. It's something along those lines. And I agree. Whatever they're saying, I agree. The song is very sensual, smooth. It has that big rise at the end. It comes all the way down and then rises back up. And everything's really a mystery, right? She didn't perform in one of the pre-parties. We don't know much about the staging. Her whole kind of aesthetic is very kind of dark and moody and mysterious. This is one I'm kind of keeping my eye on out of the corner of my eye, like, France could do it. And now that we're kind of up into this area, this is where every song from here on out I really like. All right, at number 15, it is Latvia, Sudden Lights with Aya. I did not follow much of Latvia's national final, but I'm glad this won because this song is phenomenal. It's so unique, so different in a 5/4 time. Vocally, he's fantastic. I think the staging they had in their national final, just convert that right to Liverpool, blow it up. I don't know if they should go for more of a glow or like spotlight feel or keep it very dimmed and muted as it was. I hope Latvia is ready to break their non-qualification streak because, man, talk about unlucky. But we'll have to see what happens. I would love to see this song in the final, though. It's so good. At number 14, we have She, Queen of the Kings. That is Alessandra Melli. You know, it's not that she wasn't that good, and it's not like I don't listen to the song every time it comes on. I do. She's great. She's phenomenal. The performance is going to be insane. She's opening semi-1. I mean, they picked that for a reason, you know. They wanted to start the show with a bang, and they will. And yeah, I'll spare you all my attempt at the whistle note, which I will only try in the car and usually blow up my voice. At number 13, we have the first Aussie. It's not Australia. It is, in fact, Cyprus, Break a Broken Heart, Andrew Lambro. If you watched Australia's national final last year, you know this guy can sing. He looks great. Cyprus knows how to stage. There aren't a lot of songs like this year. Usually you get 4 or 5 of these kind of like well-produced modern male pop songs. His is the only one that feels like a very structured, I won't say generic, but very, you know, kind of comfortable pop music. I think he's going to qualify easily because of that. You know, I cite Storm, Victor Crone in 2019, fourth in that semi. So he's swimming through, he's qualifying. If you don't think so, stop. Number 12, Cha, 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 Cha. Karja, Finland. Much like Norway, Karja was like my 5th in UMK this year. Karja definitely gives Finland the best chance to win, right? Realistically. This is a song that really can win the whole competition. His charisma, his performance. When you think about a Eurovision winner, you think about moments you never forget. His staging is something you will never forget, for better or for worse. Definitely a song I love screaming. And at number 11 on the bubble, just outside my top 10, it is Victor Vernikos, What They Say from Greece. This is one of a few songs that kind of crept from the 20s all the way up to either close to my top 10 or a few that actually climbed into my top 10. But his voice is so unique. I feel like when you compare it to Switzerland, they both have those really unique voices. This song is just so much more interesting lyrically, in how the melody, the vocal melodies are carried. Nostalgic Mind. At first that kind of threw me off, but I'm like, you know what? That's pretty unique. You don't hear that a lot, especially in a Eurovision entry where it kind of just has that weird monotone like drop early into the second verse. It's like, it's so out of left field. But this entry has very much grown on me. I usually like Greece's entries. And finally, we're in my top 10. And I never thought I would put this in my top 10, but here we are at number 10 with Azerbaijan, Turan Taral, Tell Me More. This song did the exact same thing that Rockstars did to me last year. I had it low on my list, and then every listen, every time I didn't skip it, it kept climbing a little bit more, a little bit more. Tell me more about me, you, us. And it's just stuck in my head, and it's lodged there. It lives rent free. This might even go up further. I know it's another one of those songs. It's in that first semi. It's like Latvia, like, I don't know if it's really going to qualify, but they're so charming. They're so good live. On the off chance that they say Azerbaijan qualifies at the end of semifinal 1, you'll be able to hear me somewhere in Liverpool screaming and being very happy. And now number 9, another entry that if it qualifies from semifinal number 1, you will hear me in Liverpool screaming, very happy. And that is Malta, the Busker, Dance, Our Own Party. If all the songs had a cool competition as to who is the coolest, it's this one. It's the Busker. You've got the saxophone, you've got the style, you've got a great looking vocalist who sounds great. He's got a sweater. Everyone loves sweaters, right? You don't want to be cold. I would bet that if Malta does qualify, it'll have a similar effect from 2018 Ireland, where I would bet their odds would go into top 6 or top 7 to win Eurovision, because them qualifying would just throw such a shock through, all of the fandom, that people would think they may have won the semi at that point to even, be in the final. And number 8, it's Serbia, Sama Misispava, Luke Black. Serbia has figured something out after Constructa and now going into Luke Black. They know how to make off-the-wall entries seem extremely appealing and just draw you in because they are so interesting. They are so well performed. They're always keeping you guessing. And then they're staged immaculately. I do hope this song makes the final. I think it deserves a spot there. And now we're getting into the songs that after it ends, I usually will tap back and play it a couple more times because it was so good. Number 7, I have Italy, Du Vite with Marco Mengoni. When Italy's national final San Remo was going on, I looked up the odds and just played the top 5 or 6 songs in the odds, the live performances, and none of them stood out like Marco. I thought for sure he's my favorite to win. I didn't actually think he was going to win. I thought some of the other performances, in Italy would have gone for instead. But I'm glad they went for Du Vite. I love this entry to death. I know a lot of people are kind of criticizing it as any old ballad or any boring old ballad. I love this much more than Brividi. I thought Brividi was not Mahmoud's finest work. Saldi was much, much superior. And I stand by that. I do not think there's a world where Brividi should outplace Du Vite. So I'm saying it right here. Italy will be top 5. At number 6, just outside of my top 5, I have Australia, Voyager, Promise. Last year, my friend came over at 3:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time here in the US, and we watched the Australian national final, and we thought, surely it's Jaguar or Voyager. We loved both of their performances, and it wasn't, and that's fine. These things happen. This is why national finals are the way they are. Sadly, Crystal Ball actually spoiled that Voyager was the representative. I think it would have been a much more exciting announcement if I would have tuned into the debut on the Eurovision channel, and then right there was Voyager when the song started. I'd probably flown out of my seat. I love Promise. This is my favorite rock song of the competition. This is made for Eurovision. This is just immediately attractive. They're such good performers. Australia's going to pour money and give them whatever they need for the explosions, the fireworks. This is closing Semi 2. I will be at Semi 2, not the live show, but one of the others. And I am so stoked to see this performance live and see Voyager live. I think that guitar solo is going to be one of those wow moments like we had with Kate a few years ago. I think they're going to do something so over the top ridiculous for that. Number 5, it is Riley, Breaking My Heart, from Denmark. I'm definitely an outlier with this entry. I don't see a lot of people that really have this one in their top 5 or particularly like it. He was obviously getting a lot of hate early on for some comments about his age and how he's timeless. His performances have been up and down through the season. He's had some really, really strong performances where vocally he sounded great, and then some others where he was a little mixed reception. I still think he's going to qualify. I still feel pretty good about my prediction. This was one of the ones that I kind of put a seal of approval on. I think it's a great way to open semifinal number 2. It's so catchy. It's so addicting right away. It's a little repetitive, yes, but that's good for an entry that a lot of people are going to be hearing for the first time. And for an entry this repetitive, I think because of how different each chorus is slightly arranged, even after listening to it as much as I have, I still love the entry. I still belt it every time it comes on. This one could fall a little bit. I think it could go down the rankings. I could see something like Italy, maybe Serbia kind of rising up, or Australia. I don't think it's ever going to drop outside my top 10 this year, but it's been holding pretty steady at number 5. Number 4, just missing out on the bronze medal. Mae Muller, I Wrote a Song, for the UK. And this is what we expect from England. You have a big musical presence. You have a lot to live up for. You should be putting in your best effort to deliver something great. And I think that is exactly what Mae is going to do. A few of her first performances were rough, but the last few have been excellent. She is ready for her close-up. She is ready to close the grand final. And you know damn well everyone in England is going to be screaming that song at the top of their lungs when she closes out the grand final. And finally, it is the top 3. And at number 3, I have Taya and Selena. Who the hell is Edgar? I'm from Maryland. Edgar Allan Poe, he died like 10 miles that way, 10 or 15 roughly. So this is the closest I'll come to my area winning the Eurovision Song Contest. So you know damn well I'm going to be voting for it. having a song as ridiculous as this with a double meaning of the record industry and how little payment that artists get through streaming, it's brilliant. The whole thing is just brilliant. They sound incredible. They're not having another Pia Maria moment from last year. Taya and Selena are slaying. They're sounding great in all the pre-parties. You know the staging is going to be off the walls. I think if they outdo themselves, it goes up in the odds to top 4 to win the whole competition. And if not, I think it still finishes middle of the field in the final at the very worst, simply because of how great of performers they are. It's crazy to think that a few months before all the songs were even out, we got that little snippet from ESC Crystal Ball, and me and a lot of other people were like, there's no way in hell that someone wrote a song about Edgar Allan Poe where they're just screaming Poe, 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 Poe. And here we are. And my silver medal today was my gold medal probably about two and a half weeks ago. And that is Loreen Tattoo, one of the greatest performers to ever grace the Eurovision stage. She would be an absolutely worthy and deserved second winner. Of course, they do have to redo the staging, so we'll have to see how that all plays out. But no one can captivate an audience the way she can, what she's capable of doing with the stage. She is a performer first and foremost. Everything else is secondary. She can, just the most subtle movements make all the difference. As a song, I know a lot of people say, oh, the lyrics are generic. Oh, it's not that interesting. It's pretty basic. You're not skipping it in the car. Don't lie to me and tell me you are. I really think we're going to Stockholm or Malmo next year. And finally, my number 1, the Netherlands. It is Burning Daylight. This song checks all the boxes for me on a personal level. Last year for me has been a little more tumultuous than I would have liked for a variety of reasons. So I do resonate with a lot of messages in the song, including the final phrase they repeat over and over. Goodbye old life. You got to move forward. You got to pick yourself up. I love their voices in the recorded version. But we have seen that the live performances aren't quite there. Even today, Avotros, the broadcaster for the Netherlands, has even kind of half-issued, I didn't read it, it's like half-issued apology of basically saying like, they're working on it, right? We're going to try and figure it out. But you don't want to hear that 2 weeks before competition when the harmonies are just not there live at all. Both of them spotty, even alone. And then when they're together, it's just not quite working. It hurts to see that because I was really, really high on this entry. I really wanted it to do well and make the final. I'm never going to stop streaming it and listening to it and singing it. But, when you say, what's your favorite of the year? It's kind of like last year, if Austria was your favorite, you'd probably be a little embarrassed to say Austria is your favorite. Last year, just because of how the live performances went for that song. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with now with the Netherlands. Look, I'm praying for a miracle. I'm praying that they get out there. They say, we figured it out. We found a way to deliver it. Maybe they change the key of the song when they sing it live. I don't even know if they're allowed to do that at this point. But I feel like that's happened before in the past where the song is like either a key lower or higher, and they can find the right balance where they're both hitting their notes consistently and they sound good together. So if you stuck with me this far, guys, let me know in your comments below what are your top 5, 10, or even your type 37, whatever. I'd love to read it and see what your lists are. And until next time,